I don't think the Edric deck is perfectly suited for multiplayer, but I do think it's pretty darn good. I've decided to play a few more multiplayer games with it and see how accurate that is. In this one, I'm going to be playing 2 games, and at the end I'll bring up the deck list as I usually do. So the person to my right wins the dice roll, Ninja Commander here in game 1. And if we can get started. Okay, so it's Edric versus Teza versus Kalia versus Mimeoplasm. No Trump commanders here. So keep a hand that's got some potential. And pass the turn with an island up. Allowing a Soul Snare to hit play, no big deal since I'm not going to attack that guy first anyway. And at the end of Ninja Commander's turn I brainstorm into this. Putting back a couple of lands and picking one up. So, painfully, I misplayed. I should have played, well, actually, I guess it doesn't matter. I don't know. I really was considering whether or not this was the right call or whether or not I should have exiled Spell Pierce and held the nest for the opportunity to possibly go infinite later. It's hard to say. In multiplayer, the fact that you can go infinite is a really powerful thing, I would imagine. I don't know. But then again, ramping up fast is very powerful as well. And so we'll just have to see. So looking at it, I didn't think anyone was going to Wrath just yet. And it looks like nobody's able to, so I'm finally able to start drawing some cards with my commander. Prior to that, of course, I put a Jite on it and swing. Attacking not the Soul Snare guy, attack Ninja Commander. He's the only one without a blocker or any defenses. And look at that pretty card I drew there. Cradle. So I'm able to get down with a Galan and pass. I'm in a very strong position. I don't know if the others have figured out that it's those 3 players against me just yet. I'm imagining that since this guy didn't attack, he hasn't realized that Edric pumps up his guy, or maybe he just wants to try to stop me, and he's not willing to deal any damage to his opponents to even do that. I don't know. Since my opponent's playing Pyrohemia, and that's kind of bad for me, I decide I'm going to use that Pierce now and save Glenulendra for 2 spells that I can't counterspell with a leak effect. One such as Grizzly Salvage, but I let it go, and my opponent manages to hit land only. And no creature. And then he plays Mimic Vat, and since I don't want him getting copies of Glenulendra as I sacrifice it, I use Glen on that. Okay, Sylvan does what it does. I don't pay the life for the second land since I'm able to Sylvan Ranger into land that way. I send the team at Ninja Commander again, I think. Yeah, they're all at Ninja Commander. So it looks like, yeah, this guy's figured out that it's a gang. It's got to be a gang up on me. He plays Condemn. I don't really feel like remanding it, I'm just going to have to counter it again later, so I go ahead and Glen it, even though it means I get one less card this turn. Remand also could deal with creatures, though, so after combat I'm able to tap for a ton of mana. And play a Vault Orb Go with a 4 counter Jite up. This guy completely gives up. He's pinned down and has nothing going. So these 2 guys decide to play it out. I guess this guy realizes he's got nothing and gives up. Ninja Commander has artifact mana though, so he decides to stick with it. And he Maelstrom pulses my Winter Orb, which I allow since I'm holding a witness. Clone Sylvan Ranger, so he can get an extra land. He was probably really wanting to clone Glen, and probably kind of pissed off that it's gone, that the other guy got rid of it there. But anyway, so I pay some more life. Jite attempts to kill his guy, and it ends up dying due to the targeting effect first. And I go to play Witness. Obviously, he realizes I'm going to get Orb and gives up. Of course, he's going to Witness Garrick Biden him this turn, maybe with a Jason there. But yeah, that's it. So later on in the evening, I play a game against Avante 074 Flaming Cowhead Tyrann, and I, of course, am myself this time. I will be going second again. The guy to my right wins a dice roll. I decide to keep this hand here. Playing against Gisela, Riku, Experiment, Kraj, and Edric, of course. Experiment, Kraj. I don't know. Anyway, I top take a bird there, so this hand just got quite a bit sweeter. My opponent's dinking around with not. He's playing junk instead of ramping or defending. All these guys are just screwing around with no drops and stuff. Here's the first ramp spell other than from any of my opponents. So I am able to get Edric down. Thought about cloning the Hive Master and then playing Edric on the following turn. That seems pretty greedy when I could just take a card now, so go ahead and do that. And this guy plays Aura, which means this Metamorph is going to cost 2 more. Bit of a pain, and he'll be able to kill it. And this guy plays Prophet, and this is a card that's up for strong consideration in this deck. This card is very, very powerful. It's like it doesn't untap artifacts, but crap, man. Untap all lands and creatures, and they all gain Flash. And the fact that it's green, so I could Green Sun Zenith for it. It's blue, so I could force a will with it. I could pod into it when Drained Hermit is, not the key card. This card's really, really something I ought to consider and have been thinking about for a bit. Anyway, I swing in against the guy who has no blockers. Should be obvious to everybody by now that it's me against everyone at the table, since I've been basically attacking everybody. Whoever's open, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not playing politics. I'm playing win. So, I end up having to spend extra mana to clone his Prophet, and I cross my fingers and hope that it lands, and it does, which means that I get all my mana back on this guy's turn, which is huge. He doesn't sack the aura, he doesn't counter it. Such a huge, huge turn for me. This guy plays Core Cartographer, and I have no problem with that. And during his end step, I cast Sower, stealing the other Prophet so I don't have to sweat instant creatures, and play a Finhorn Elves, which makes an elf, and then I get all my mana back again. How to play the whole table. So the other guy plays a very expensive Armillary Sphere and goes and gets himself some lands, because that's what you need is lands. So he's got no blockers. Send the team at him and draw many, many cards. And I screw up here. I should have claimed the aura. I was planning to claim it. Misplaying. I spend 2 extra mana I did not have to spend, and then claim the aura. It's totally pointless and dumb there. He finally kills the Prophet, but it's too late since I got that first untap, and that was all I needed to steal his other Prophet. So I play an elf, and I tutor for Rift and get all my mana back. This guy plays a Lotus. This guy plays a Thada, Adele, the Nurok Stealth Suit. So end of his turn I Rift, thinking that I'm going to get all my mana back. That'll bounce all his crap, bounce this guy's stuff, untap all my stuff from the Prophet on his turn, and then I can just counter whatever he tries to play. However, this guy has Clone, or Fork, or Reverberate, whatever they call it these days, Fork, basically. So, I get all my crap bounced too, and I don't get an untap. So this guy's the first one who gets to develop, and he uses his turn to play Into the Wilds, which was a card I thought about, and it seems like a slow control card where you've got like Top and Scroll Rack. Might be good for a deck like that, I don't know. But man, this late in the game, kind of weak. So I play Hive Master, Elf, 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 and a clamp and say go. Pretty much rebuilding my army. These guys all replay all their junk, none of which matters much. And then this guy plays Rain of Thorns, which is, he's able to destroy my clamp and my pool. Fair enough. Didn't really need the clamp anyway. I was hoping he's going to play his Prophet again. Having that thing out was great. I really do need to think about putting that in here. Anyways, smack him for his impertinence. And don't find a cradle this time. I'm able to treachery this other guy's data, so I don't have to sweat that. Transmute Muddle into Orb. And get an Orb down. And as well as a Drog, a Tree Speaker, and an extra Insect. And decide I'm not going to tap out anymore. This guy's had enough. He's been mana screwed the whole game, and now his one permanent gets stolen and he gets mana screwed. Unfortunately, and this is really stupid, Treachery goes away and I lose control of his guy. It makes no sense to me that that should be the case, because it makes the person who, it makes theft, it makes the person who gets their stuff stolen into like the Kingmaker. Like, you invest all this mana into stealing their card. Like, imagine if I tried to Treachery his guy, right? And in response, he concedes. Then Treachery fizzles. My lands don't untap. Like, it completely screws me over. Or if, like, I Treachery and I've got his guy and it's like my blocker, and then this guy, and then he just scoops so that the other guys can smash me or something. It just seems wrong to me that it should be like that. But, you know, it's how it is. It's really funny because this guy, like, the guy who said who conceded just now, earlier, before I did the craziness on my turn, he was like, what did he say? Oh, I forgot it. Anyway, he said he made a comment like, well, at least I have 40 life, and then I treachered his guy, and then he scooped, and I said, hey, 40 life, with a pokey face. Anyway, carrying on. So I smash Avante there. This guy tries to fog for him, which, you know, is a no-go. Doesn't have enough mana. So they're trying to stop the deck, but I mean, they're trying to stop a deck that you know, I'm drawing more than everybody at the table combined. And I have more mana than everyone at the table combined, more permanents than everyone at the table combined. It makes it a little bit difficult to stop. So I do some shenanigans with leveling up my Jiraga, playing a Trinket, and completely tap out in order to go get Cradle. And then I make a slight misplay here. Play Sylvan Ranger. I tap for 14 mana. What I should have done was Natural Order for 4, Regrowth for 2, and then where is he? Metamorph for 3. So that should be the play that I make, regardless of whatever else I do here. So here I get an Insect, no big deal. And a land. I still have 12 though, so I can make that play. Now I'm down to 10, so I can still make the play. 9, 5. Okay, yeah, I had enough mana. 5 mana left. So anyway, I go get Terastodon. He jumps out, and I go to target the guy's Lotus, and this guy's Cluestone, and this guy's Into the Wilds. Those are the 3 targets. But I can't because this guy scoops in response. So I was trying to figure out how this would work, how it would resolve, but it doesn't matter, this guy concedes. But of course I had 5 mana left, so regardless of whether or not it only killed the Cluestone in the Wilds or let me retarget somehow, regrowing the clone and then casting it would have killed his untapped lands. His last 2 permanents there, 2 untapped lands. I could have killed his bracers as well, but I actually probably would have just killed his 2 untapped lands and then either his second forest or maybe one of my own forests, just because there's really no point in like giving him extra permanents. Tap lands is dead land with Orb out. So anyway, that was it. I hope you enjoyed watching a couple of stompings with the Edric deck, and as promised, here's the deck list. This currently is. I really do need to think about putting that flash creature though. That thing seems kind of nutty. Being able to untap all my mana and then all of my cards playing flash is pretty powerful. So something to think about. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the games, and I'll see you next time.